on the planet if I've got enough money? And is that really the kind of behavior you want to be, supporting? So the thing is if you want real research, here's where you go. Google's not an information site. It's a search engine site. It's nothing more, nothing less. I mean, I have a guy who threw more money than God at this thing, and he became the #1 search thing for Kangen water in 6 days. But you got to understand, he got 800 leads in 4 days, and they were all on Google Scholar, or even electrolyze reduced water / diabetes or anything like that. It's that's what you need to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Jen's calling me. It's messing with. Can you call Jen back? Sorry, did I lose you there?
What's going on, brother? Good to see you this morning.
Yeah, long night.
Sorry about that.
Didn't get done painting until 10 o'clock.
And you were still hours away from home?
Yeah, about an hour.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's been I don't know.
We're done, though.
Sleep these days are kind of a thing of the past. I've been getting to bed and average about 1 o'clock in the morning, getting up at 4:30 or 5:30, and just
making it happen.
I can sleep when I'm dead, baby. That's what I'll sleep. I guess that's the way it seems to be working out these days. I'm just, you got to do what you got to do, right? And that's what we're on an incredible mission to change the world, and you can't do that while you're asleep.
No, you cannot. Yeah, man. So I just woke up and was like, holy cow, I need to just chill and get on this thing.
Well, the thing that's interesting is we've just been having a little discussion about Google and people doing their research on Google. And the truth is that it's probably one of the worst places. Like Dan was just mentioning, it's not a research site, it's a search engine. That's all it is. And quite frankly, the reality of the situation is that when people go to Google and search Kangen water, they're going to find a bunch of garbage. They're going to find a bunch of nonsense that's put up there by all of our competitors. And kids, see this? See how I'm putting this in quotation marks? Competitors? Why do I do that? It's the same reason I do it with doctors, because they're not doctors, they're not competitors, they don't compete with Kong. They're frauds, incredible frauds, and they're actually causing damage to people. They're actually putting people in the hospital. They're giving our industry a bad name, and I don't like it. It drives me nuts when people go there, and I have at least a dozen people in my life over the last 2 years that they've been strayed away from making the wise choice of jumping on the Kong train because of what? Because of Google and our so-called competitors. It literally started right from the beginning, from one of the very first people that I reached out to about this water. She did her research, and she got a bunch of nonsense, and she's never been interested. It's too expensive. What the hell ever. I can't do anything about that. Neither can you, except what I can do is I can try to educate these people about the proper way to do research and get them some solid information. And Sean, I'm actually glad that you jumped in today, buddy, because I was hoping that maybe you could, because with this format, I can't really share my screen and stay live on Facebook. And so that's why it's always nice it's great to have you come in, because you can share stuff and people can watch it, and we can be recording it, and we can still be live for those people that can't jump into the Zoom room. But what do you want me to share? This is what I was planning on doing for today's show. I was planning on showing Dr. Michael's video called Dr. Michael Explains the Competition. And I was gonna undo the live thing, and I was just gonna share it. I was gonna share my screen. I've got the video already queued up. But since how you're here, maybe you could take a minute and cue that baby up real quick, and let's share it from your screen. And that way we can go live and we can let Dr. Michael talk about the so-called competition. Because this is the thing, you guys, we don't have any competition. We have the most incredible product on the planet. We have a product that every single living thing on the planet needs, and hardly any of those living things on the planet have. And we have absolutely big fat zero competition. There is nobody out there anywhere in the world that makes anything like the Kangen water machine, even though they love to yammer on about how they are just as good and for half the price. Anyway, I don't know though. You might not have good enough service there because you're kind of.
You want me to play that video now? Like I said, I just jumped on my phone because it would let me get this thing up and running.
Yeah, get it up. Let's run this baby. I want to give some information today about competition because there isn't any. And I want people.
I mean, again, we can sit here and go on and just, dig into the toolbox. Screw stupid people. I don't give a rat's ass about them. People don't care about their own health. What am I going to do? Prove them right that they're stupid? I'm not trying to be ignorant about it. I can show them a million things. All it's going to do is make them obstinate and more hard-headed. I don't want those people. We shouldn't want those people. If they can't understand the difference between a Rolls Royce and a Pinto, then they're not worthy of talking to, because then you're going to have to beat them over the head with it. Believe me, I've tried to beat people over the head with truth on a variety of levels, and it ain't that they can't get it. They don't want it. You know what I mean?
I think Daniel D. McCullough says it best. He says, hey, man, your health care is not where you want to save the pennies, right? I mean, so these people out there, hey, he says it best. If you're going to buy your mom something that's going to take care of her health for the next 30 years, are you going to buy her the Pinto?
Right.
Right.
No, listen, I've had people die. I've had people die buying knockoffs. I've had people die that stretched me out and, oh yeah, if you join my, what the hell was it, Pro Tandem, you get Pro Tandem and Life Vantage and their turmeric, and you look and see they've got like 150 milligrams of or 125 milligrams of a proprietary blend of milk thistle and turmeric and all that. This went on. I got in. I said, okay, this is before UConn. I got in and I'm like, okay, well, look, I'll do it. I mean, I'll check it out. I need a good supplement anyway. And 8 months later, still going on. Well, I got to do this. And then and I got real candid. Like, you guys need to quit bullshitting around. You have to quit messing around. Your mom's doing all this stuff. She's trying to avoid chemo in the allopathic direction. And these are grown kids. I love them. One of her boys bought a machine from me. And that's how the whole thing came about. But she was just, and God rest her soul, she's gone. And I tell you what, when she died, everybody disappeared. All they did was talk about how they wanted to get their mom a machine. Talk about how their mom needs a machine. There's 3 of them, all of them, very financially feasible. They're not poverty people. They're all movers and shakers in their own little world, and they all dropped the ball, and mom died before she was 55, 60. Maybe 60-something, but yeah. So another guy, an old Vietnam vet. I had given him water. It was doing crazy things for his wife's shoulder. She had avoided a first surgery, yada, yada, yada. This went on for 6 months, almost 7 months. I was giving him water, and I was not worried about it. I was just trying to be giving, trying to be helpful. He can't afford it. He can't afford it. He can't afford it. 6, 7 months later, he drives up to my house in a $20,000 Cadillac and literally wanted me to be impressed by it. And I'm like, well, wait a sec. You're talking about your wife's in bad shape, and you sell me all these stories about how bad things are and how pitiful you are. And I've bought it because you're my elder, you're a veteran of, Vietnam. You've been milking me like a God-blessed dairy cow. And you're going to come in here with something 5 times more the cost of this machine and have the audacity to feel like I'm supposed to be all fired up for you? I said, Bud, this is insulting. It makes you look really foolish. Can't make me foolish because my whole heart and my intention is to help you. It makes you look foolish because you're stroking me like Billy Squire. And I ain't Billy Squire. So don't stroke me. You remember that song? The innuendo aside. But yeah, hey, listen, I'm going to get Dr. Over here, but I just had to get my computer going. But that's my deal. We can give them evidence right now. My buddy sells insurance here in Montana. He's got a gal working for him. She's already had a baby. I think she's got another one on the way. She keeps saying, oh, yeah, well, I just got to come get it from you. Come get it from you. And I guess it's just an office joke. So he tagged her in our thing yesterday, on something yesterday that we did. And I sent her a friend request. He tagged her in it. And then I just pretty much told her, I said, hey, look, this is, whatever, and it's an investment and yada, yada. And yeah, it's just too expensive for her. I mean, literally. And I said, well, if that's the case, then you might not necessarily need to be in the insurance industry because it requires simple math. And if you can't do simple math on the affordability of these machines, what can anybody else do? Yeah. People are afraid. People are flat out afraid of the truth. And people love to put up their old poor me stories. I've got a guy, oh my God, you could go on and on and on. They love to post how disrepaired their life is. They love to post how they want pity. I swear to God, the emotional, mental health climate in this country today is so bad. They say we have a gun problem. We don't have a gun problem. We have a mental health problem. Yeah. We got people that can't identify. They can't accept the fact that they're a 52-year-old man. No, because of today's world, we can go identify as a 6-year-old girl, and we can go to court for it. We can have a 69-year-old guy that wants to identify as a trans age. So he wants to be recognized as 49. I mean, are you kidding me? We've gotten so flippin' flaky. And this kind of stuff with people being afraid of a $4,000 water ionizer that will absolutely change their life. There's PubMed. There's all this microstructured water with, ERW stuff and all that. No, man, these guys don't want the truth. It's too, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but.
Well, yeah, Sean, I want to.
I'm digging. I'm trying to find the link on my computer.
Let's hang tight on that for just a second, because I want to try something different here just to see if it works and see what happens, because I already have it queued up, and this will be the first time I've actually tried this, so I want to just see how it works. But I also want to talk about something, and that is that, yeah, we understand that there's a bunch of this negativity stuff going on out there. I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of negative stuff going on in this world today. And quite frankly, if we really want to change the world, which we do,
yeah,
it's not just about Kangen water. It's about changing mindsets. It's about changing the way people think.
We can only change the mindsets of people that want their mindsets to be changed.
Well, the thing is, like you said, Sean, we're not here to worry about those people. What we're here to do is continue to spread a message of positivity, of hope, of love, and that's what I'm here to do on the Kong Family Show. I don't care about people that
I just threw that all in the pond.
But this is the thing. I want to continue to bring a positive, educational message day in and day out.
Yeah.
Forevermore, because that's how I'm going to change the world. It doesn't do us any good to talk about the people that won't listen. The reason we're doing this is for the people that do want to listen, that are curious, that want to do some real research. And that's how we're going to do this, is we're going to put information out there, because the simple fact of the matter is there might be somebody out there who thinks they've done their research, but they haven't ever met Dr. Michael. They don't see what he has to say about it. They don't know that he's had 8 different water ionizers that are supposedly our competition. Well, guess what? They're not. And I want to bring that information out to people so that people can see it. And what they're going to do with it, that's their choice. I've been sharing the book World Without Cancer for 26 years. And I've had multitudes of people that I've shared it with, but they don't read it, they won't learn about it, and they go ahead and die of cancer. That's their choice, whatever. I did my job. My job is to be a messenger of truth and love. And that's what I'm trying to do. And I want to get this information out there to people and let the chips fall where they may. What other people do, and this is something I've learned, and I really want to encourage people to get in on the morning motivations. Every morning, every day, get in there, because it's, even if all you're doing is just turning it on and listening, and you don't get in the room, you don't act, whatever, that's fine. But just, I've learned from the last 5 months or whatever it's been, gosh, time flies so fast. I've learned that this whole winning the morning, winning the day thing, literally dragging myself out of bed. I'm tired, I'm sleeping, because this is the thing, dude. I sleep so good now since I got Kangen water. And every night before I go to bed, I guzzle down either some 11.5 or some really super slow running 9.5. And on my machine with my water source here where I am, I get some of the most, I get 9.5 water out of my machine that is more powerful than the 11.5 that people like Dan are getting out of their machine. I'm literally getting a negative 860 out of my 9.5 water. And I drink that stuff down every night before I go to bed, brush my teeth with the 2.5, and then I just I'm out. And if I only get 5 hours of sleep or 4 hours of sleep, man, that 4 or 5 hours of sleep is absolute sleep with full-scale dreams. I had a dream that I was hanging out with Alex Honnold the other night. The climber, the crazy freaking solo climbing dude that climbed El Capitan without ropes. I mean, it's just crazy, dude. But the point is that we're here to, I've learned that positivity is the key. Because, is everything just going positive for me right now? No. Actually, right now I've got some stuff that's going on that really kind of sucks. But the only thing that's keeping me positive about it is the fact that every single morning I'm in there getting positive. And so what that's doing is spurring me to just keep rolling with positive. I don't care what other people think about it. If they don't like positive, hey, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out, because we're coming with positive around here, baby. That's all we got to share. That's all we got to
Dr. Mike, so, Dr. Barry Michael?
No, it's Michael Donaldson is his name. And let me give this a try. I'm going to try sharing my screen right now. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah, my computer is slow.
I'm going to go with Google Chrome and share computer sound, optimize for full screen. And let's see if I can bring up Dr. Michael. Hey, looky there, kids. HooDeeHooo! I can bring up Dr. Michael. Let's see what we get here.
That a boy. What's up, Nelson?
How you doing, Sean?
Good, man.
Good evening. Welcome to Dr. Michael Explains. Tonight we're going to be discussing the competition in the water ionizer market. This is probably the most eagerly sought after presentation that I do next to, can you please explain what electrolyzed reduced water is and why does it work so well? It's my intent to accurately and diligently put to rest some of the market.
Oh, come on.
Don't worry, JJ. That's what mine does the whole time I've been in Arkansas.
I might have to go up and fire. I might have to get on my
marketing misdirections, if you will, and deceptions that they try to do to instill fear or confusion. There's a lot of that going around. I have since sorted through a lot of information. I've been kicked off some.
Bear with me, kids.
Water ionizer sites. I've been banned from places because of asking these types of questions that they can't honestly answer and they don't want to be on the record for stating. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but they know who they are. So let's get started and we'll start this presentation. Call this the competition of Skywater. The reality of it is I've come to the conclusion that there really isn't any. I do diligence.
I'm going to hook into my my Ethernet. Hopefully this will solve the issue here with this. I pay a ton of money for internet service.
I know.
And it's just irritating.
Diligently search. And here's why. I regularly evaluate these water ionizers because what they did to for my daughter Skylar. You can go and watch Dr. Michael Explains the Water revised and you'll get the full explanation. My loyalty to the SD501 lies in the simple fact that I've not found a better machine at this price point. I do continue to research them because my daughter's health actually does depend on it. It's not a gimmick, it's not a business. She requires it daily. And when she has it, she's perfectly normal. And when she doesn't, she has other health issues. It's a critical component of the health for my entire family and our active lifestyle. The SD501 was not the first ionizer I had purchased, used, or otherwise, nor was it the last one that I researched. I simply have not found one that is superior across the board on all facets to date. That said, there's a lot to sort through these days, so let me explain my own personal findings. This is not clinical research. This is as valid as anybody else's opinion, but it's the research behind what I have found. Just as a point to reference, Skylar was my daughter. She was born with gastroschisis. In 2009, she spent a year in the hospital. She came home after having 2 colostomies, a reversal, a resection, to 100 hours a week of home health care with feeding tubes and feeding ports. That's Skylar today, and she is a healthy, happy, very vibrant, almost 6-year-old. What was the difference and why did the water work? Well, it's simple. The healthiest person and the sickest person can be broken down into 2 parts. Muscles, ligaments, bones, organs, and tissues, and they all add up to 28% of the person. The other 72% of everyone is just water. But not all water is equal. You have distilled water, reverse osmosis water, filtered water, alkaline water, ionized water, and then there's electrolyzed reduced water. If you want to go to Dr. Michael Explains the Water, I get into this in greater detail. But the short answer is electrolyzed reduced water is water that has been electrically disassociated, and that produces molecular hydrogen, active oxygen, and hydroxyl anions to work as free radical scavengers. And the water's been restructured for rapid absorption, and that basically maximizes nutrition and detoxification. If you see this over here, you take a water molecule, you break it apart, you get a hydroxyl anion, and there's the hydrogen molecule. The way that it is accomplished is it's basically a lightning strike. This water occurs in nature when lightning strikes an open body of water, lake, stream, ocean, whatever, and it blows everything apart because of the high ionization level. Well, what they do is they put some quality plates in there in a machine that's about the size of a coffee pot. If this is a clump of water molecules with low energy, they kind of stick together. It's like an electromagnetic thing. They don't disperse evenly. When you increase the ionization, the outer rim electrons kind of repel each other. And some of the bonds will break, and so you'll get, instead of have a big clump that the body can't use, it'll break it down into clusters of smaller, like 4 clusters of 6, 5 clusters of 5, 4 clusters of 4, 6 clusters of 4 with free electrons and whatnot. If you think about trying to get this cluster of grapes into this jug, even Skylar, when she was little, would take the grapes off the stem and dump them into the jug. If you can get everyone in there, you got good hydration. If you try to cram the whole thing in there, it's going to fall all over. They're going to break apart, hit the floor, all that stuff. This is not a personal slam or endorsement of anything. This is simply a list of machines that I have personally used. The Microlite, Jupiter Melody, Alcavive, Life Ionizers, Relier, Tyrant, Royal Water, Ion Ways, and Echo. I've either purchased these machines or I have a friend or patient that had one. I've personally used and tested these machines myself. None of this came from, oh, well, they said online. And actually, they are all good machines in their own right. And most of them will perform up to their basic claims. It has this pH, it's got this filter, it's got this ORP, et cetera, et cetera. However, most of these are not doing an apples-to-apples comparison against the Enagic SD501. They'll all focus on a particular feature that compares to the SD501, not a full feature comparison across the board. That said, if it's not on the list, I've probably researched it online, and it just didn't really warrant any further hands-on testing by me personally. Doesn't mean it's a good or bad machine, just means it didn't pique any interest because I knew what I had, and for some reason or other, I discontinued it. And I'll explain to you what my rationale was in a few moments. Here's my personal conclusion, and it's going to offend a lot of people, and I'm okay with that. It's my opinion. Prove me wrong, we'll discuss it. I'll even try it with Skylar. In my opinion, as far as the competition, machine for machine, there's none. Second point is, just refer to number 1. There really isn't anything on the market that does it all and does it as well as the SD501. They've got some of the highest quality plates. They have the best power supply on the market. A lot of people will misdirect you into thinking it's old technology. And again, that's what it is. It's misdirection. Or they didn't do their own homework. I'll explain that. They have a superior in maintenance and cleaning program. Some machines like to say ours never needs cleaning because our plates won't have a buildup of calcium. That's a true statement. They don't address the mold issue that ends up in the machine. The company's been around the longest. They've got the best warranty because they'll back it because they'll still be in business next year. Has the highest uses of diverse uses of water. Produces hypochlorous acid, produces beauty water. It's not just a pH thing. They want you to think it is, and they may actually believe it is, and it isn't. They just don't know what they're talking about. It produces the widest variety of waters. It has an electrolysis solution that is based on the production of hypochlorous acid. That is probably the biggest single factor of all of them. And there's a reason why it's the industry standard. If you step back to the electrolysis solution and hypochlorous acid production, if you got rid of everything about the SD501 and did a price shopping comparison just against that one water, there's companies out there, Terrace, it's Terriss, even Tyrant's got a commercial grade hypochlorous machine, and they run $3,000 or $4,000 for one water. Not all 7, for one of them. That's a big point, and we'll discuss why in a few minutes. There really is a reason why every ionizer on the market compares itself to the SD501. It's the whole package. They try to discredit it because, oh, there's a business associated with it, or it's overpriced, or it's old tech. No, it's an industry standard for a lot of reasons. We'll get into that. So here I took apart my SD501. I had a couple of them. This one is I got used. It's about 6 years old. This was my Jupiter and my Royal Microlite. Nothing to say, but it just shows you the actual size of the plates. The SD501 plates actually measure 53, the Royal and Jupiter measure 53 square centimeters. The Enagic is nearly 90 square centimeters of plate surface. So pound for pound, the plates are just bigger. I do want to clarify that these are my personal findings only. I am not intending to reestablish an industry standard. I'm not looking to contradict anybody else's claims or findings. And I'll be honest, if you don't take care of your SD501 the way that the company says that you should, you could easily have, and most likely do have, similar issues. That said, Enagic is very clear about machine maintenance. This is simply what I have found out when I took apart these two now obsolete water ionizers. Realistically, I could have opened the only two ionizers ever in existence with the identical issues. Highly unlikely. I should have played the lottery that day. I found plate corrosion and scorched plates and lots of mold. All of my machines are and were properly maintained by manufacturer recommendations. I am putting this into every single one of my children, myself, and my spouse. I was thrilled when I thought I bought a machine that didn't require any maintenance. It cleans itself and all I do is change filters. Perfect. I'm lazy. I don't want to have to deal with that. As a physician, I have never had a device that was truly maintenance-free. I was devastated when I found out why my kids were getting sick. It actually was one of the main reasons that turned me off to water machines completely, and that culprit was mold. As you'll notice with those plates, there was no calcium buildup on any of them, as claimed by every manufacturer. Calcium will not build up on our plates. All it does is it reverses the power and it blows the calcium off and it flushes through. Where does that calcium lodge in the rest of the machine? If the water's been filtered before it gets there, it can get hung up in housings, lines, tubes. And what about other issues? If you go away for the weekend and you let your machine sit because you did that, you're going to get mold in there just by nature of there's water in a contained environment. That's what happens. Almost all companies that I've looked at fail to address the mold issue in cleaning their machines. I personally will never own a machine that I can't manually clean and have the factory clean it at will. It is amazing the stuff you'll see on the inside of a machine. The other thing is the quality of the plates, quality of materials. This is the magnification of the surface of the titanium plates of several different machines. This actually came from Ms. Tosher's report. She's an engineer, brilliant, with some incredible toys. She took apart a lot of machines, and you can find her, Lori Tosher Compares the Machines. It's like a 26-page engineer's report. It's incredible. I can't recommend it enough. But you can just see that the surface of the SD501 here is way smoother. So this was my microlite. There I am styling. Here's what I found. This is the plate, and this is where the platinum is burned off. You can see here where the plate is scorched. This isn't saying that it's a bad machine. I'm just saying this is what was on the inside of my machine. This was the real problem. If you look at this lower right-hand thing, that tube, all that gunk in there was mold that wiped out. We were filtering the water, ionizing the water, and then flushing it out of the machine into my glass through a tube that was filled with mold because it couldn't be manually cleaned. This machine I used for 9 months. This was my Jupiter Melody. You can see they went a bright purple. I think that that's called scorching, but you know, whichever. Again, another machine they claim never needs cleaning because it has its own auto clean. You can see mold issues in here. This is the housing for the plates. You can see calcium build up on the spigot for the water. And again, looking in the tubes, there's more mold. I actually have these machines in my possession, and it's me taking them apart. This is an online picture. This is not mine. It didn't come out. I've heard rumors of this. This is what happens when you don't maintain a plate and you get calcium. It's older technology, I would guess. But still, you can see what can happen to plates in a hurry if you don't take care of them. Since we're talking about plates, let's talk about marketing hype. Solid mesh and hybrid. There is a lot of fancy marketing going around trying to convince people of certain types of plate design benefits. Here's what I've found. Higher levels of electrolysis do occur around the edges of a plate. That's science, that's not marketing. If there are more edges, there's going to be more electrolysis. That is a fact. Hence, there's a theory of mesh plates. However, that also increases their susceptibility to heat scorching and corrosion. You'll notice that the two machines that I just took apart had solid plates, and they still had issues. As for corrosion, unless every edge is sealed, it's going to be a problem. Basically, the manufacturer wanted to cut the cost on the two most expensive components, titanium and platinum. So if you can put in half the amount of platinum and stretch it and make it look the same size, they'll think they're getting the same thing. There are some new machines out there that are expounding on their new and improved mesh plate design, that it's double, triple, dipped 5 times. But I don't know that they've actually been long enough to truly determine the efficacy of that process. Not saying it doesn't work. I'm saying that historically it's been a problem that's led to a lot of issues. The plate picture from the SD501 came out of a 6-year-old machine that someone gave me. Obviously, they'd properly maintained it. Everybody seems to want to know, how big are the plates? How big are the plates? I wanted to know, so I took them apart. I actually got out my little micrometer and measured the plates myself. I didn't look at what anybody said online because I thought they were one thing because it said it online and the housings are a different size and they show big plastic housings and all kinds of things. The surface of the area of the plates is critical for the electrolysis process. I'm going to explain that in a moment. The enagic plates measure 3.2 by 5.4, or they're 17.5 square inches, or 44.5 centimeters each. They're getting worked on both sides, so you've got about 90 square centimeters per plate. The plates that were in my competitors' machines were 2.4 by 4.3, or 10.5. Gave me about 53 square centimeters per plate. I will say there does appear to be larger plates that are starting to appear on the market because they realized this is an issue. So how many of these plates? Well, if you look at a machine that's got 53 square centimeters and 5 plates, they have 265 square centimeters. 7 plates is 371. The new big fancy machines with 12 plates that'll blow away any competition on the market has a total surface area of 636 square centimeters. If you look at the Junior, their 5 plates gives you 445 square centimeters. That's more than the competition 7-plate series. Oop. What's going on? We're skipping ahead here. The Super has 12 plates, which is over 1,000 square centimeters. The SD501 with 7 plates has 623. So basically what the competition did is they said, let's put 12 plates into a machine so that we can be an equal comparison to the SD501. The Kangen 8, their newest lineup, has 8 plates, or 712. The R unit, the cheapest machine in the enagic lineup, has 267 square centimeters. That is the equivalent of most other competitors' machines. The smallest enagic machine with 3 plates has more surface area than the standard 5-plate machine on the market by the competitors, and it's only $1,480. So when you see somebody going, our 5-plate machine is only $2,495, an accurate comparison is to the R model from enagic, not the SD501. A lot of the new 12-plate machines are seeing actually have a surface area equal to the SD501. And we're not even going to bring up the Super again. Power supply. I love this one. One guy gets out there and goes, it has a transformer. That's old technology. We're not saying it's bad, it's just dated. No, it's the best way to create a steady increase in power. That's why you still see them on the side of the road. You have to ramp up the power to make it stable. They use an SMPS. The SD501 absolutely does. It regulates power flow to make it computer technology safe and stable. The R and the Junior do use a straight transformer to get the most possible energy to work with the larger plates. However, the SD501 has one of the most advanced power supplies available on the market. It has a transformer that increases the power. It has a switch mode power supply that regulates the flow of energy in the plates and heat. It also added in a condenser. And so what happens is you have the power supply, you have the condenser, and they oscillate so that it keeps a very steady, stable power supply to produce the best ionization. If you don't have a condenser and the SMP kicks in, because there's no transformer, it drops way down, ramps back up and down and up and down and up and down. So you get a very irregular that's based on how much heat the plates are. So you don't know if you're getting 230 watts, 530 watts, or 50 watts because your plates are hot and they're burning up. An easy way to test this theory is if you have an SD501, turn it on, pour yourself a glass of 9.5, keep it running and unplug it from the wall. It's going to keep running for a full 10 seconds. Proof positive, there's a condenser. Here's why it's important. The electrolysis power factors come on board. It is watts times amps times surface area equals the PEUs, or potential electrolysis units. I recently called a competitor because they had a machine that actually legitimately interested me, and I wanted to look at it. And he kicked me out of the website, said I was trolling, called me a good teacher, but said that I was liable for all kinds of things, and then they banned me from ever going on their website. Oh, like that really mattered. I switched computers and logged back in anyways. And what I asked him is, what's the amperage of their machine? Because it looked like it had a good amperage. Most of them don't. Oh well, their loss. Basically, you take 250,000 PEUs to create stable water ionization. That means that when you ionize the water in 10 minutes, it's not regular filtered water. The number one power factor for the SD501 is the transformer ramps it up to 230 watts at 2.5 amps with 623 centimeters of plate surface, gives you 358,225 PEUs. A typical unit right now is 110 watts with 5 plates or 268 centimeters and a half amp. That means that it only has 14,470 PEUs, which is roughly 4% of the power of the SD501. It can't create stable water ionization. So they add calcium, magnesium, potassium to make it alkaline and make the little drops turn purple. Why? It doesn't work, but people want to see purple. That's the problem. And it's really due to the amperage. I see a lot of energy saver units. Read that as underpowered, not enough juice, can't get it done. 1 amp deals with 6.2 times 10 to the 18th power of electrons. What we're trying to do is break bonds and increase the electron energy. The SD501 has 15.7 times 10 to the 18th.
Wow.
The other units with their half amp have 3.2. That's less than 20% of the electron potential. You can ask any electrician. The voltage won't kill you, but the amperage will. Putting it differently, 2 machines of equal power and equal plate size with different amperages will have a completely different PEU. If you had the same power, the same plate, 2.5 amps versus a half amp, you have 500% more energy in the 2.5 amp machine. It's just the way that it works. Next thing you want to do is you want to avoid any machine that uses a remineralizer. I see it all the time. It's something your body needs anyways. No, it doesn't. Not in that form. In fact, if it's underpowered, they add calcium, magnesium, and minerals to make it look alkaline because it won't disassociate the water. This is the key factor in the research on PubMed that says alkaline ionizers are dangerous. It leads to calcium deposition in the heart, kidneys, and arteries. It's what contributes to alkalosis because the minerals build up in the system, and that's basically the point for all the negative research. It's the minerals that are getting ionized, not the ionization. Next, cleaning your machine. I won't have a machine that I can't manually clean. The SD501 automatically cleans itself just like every other machine on the market. There isn't a machine on the market that does it any more than the SD501. However, I have a manual cleaning cartridge. I can get rid of the mold in my line. The automatic cleaning is associated directly with plates and calcium buildup. It is not necessarily flushing the system of mold or anything in there. That's why you use a manual cleaning cartridge. My wife won't let me test a machine that doesn't have a manual cleaning cartridge. Again, our kids got sick. Other thing is, I see a lot about plates, calcium, and auto cleaning. To clarify, plate calcification and the amount of mold in the water lines and throughout the machine are completely unrelated. You can have spotless plates and mold throughout the whole machine. Yes, my SD501 has a regular cleaning schedule, and your machine should too. If you don't manually clean it on a regular basis, there's a really good chance you're putting mold into your body. In fact, municipal water sources are getting so bad today that Enagic has a dedicated team of technicians that will completely detail your machine inside and out. And the stuff that you see in there is horrific. Next comparison. The SD501 can be used for cleaning fruits and veggies. It can be used as a degreaser. It can be used for wound sterilization. It can be used for all kinds of things. Not all waters are created equal. This is some tomatoes. I used to buy cherubs at the grocery store and just eat them on the way home. A friend said, no, you gotta wash those. And I'm like, no, they're good. They're nature sweet. They're good stuff. He said, no, just take your 11.5 and wash them. That middle glass was plain 11.5 water straight out of my SD501. I sat the tomatoes in it for 2 minutes and poured that off. The tomatoes tasted like they were garden fresh. Anytime you see stuff like that, all of the pesticides are petroleum based. They don't wash off in the rain. If you're taking and washing your veggies in the sink, don't waste your time. It's not getting anything off. A little bit of dirt. In fact, we eat mostly organic. And that was a big surprise when we started to clean them, the stuff that came off. I later found out that if organic fruits and vegetables are brought in from outside the country, they have to be sprayed at the board for pests. So even the organic stuff from Argentina's got stuff on it. Our dogs drink Kangen water. I just thought this was funny. Looking in the toilet, hey Henry, this is good and all, but does your house have a Kangen machine? Okay, now the diamond in the rough, the best thing about this machine, second to the amount of molecular hydrogen and active oxygen, is it is a true electrolyzed hypochlorous acid machine. Basically, hypochlorous acid converts alkenes to chlorohydrins. You could say it denatures some of the proteins. It breaks down some of the cell membranes, does a lot of things. In the body, it's generated in the neutrophils and contributes to the destruction of bacteria in the system. It's also the main reason that the neutrophils mitigate the clotting factor when you get a cut. Recent studies now are underway testing using it for necrotic wounds, infectious disease like MRSA, staph, Krepke, E. coli. It's just a button you push on this machine. It's a bonus item. In order to produce hypochlorous acid versus 2.5 acid water, there is a huge difference. These machines go, we produce the same waters as the SD501 without the addition of a harmful chemical solution. It's called salt water, people. It's not a harmful chemical solution. And no, your 2.5 acid water that comes out of your machine without a solution is not hypochlorous acid by FDA standards. You are misleading people to buy your product. You may not know what it is, but you're not getting it done. Electrolyzed hypochlorous acid is when you take regular water and a salt water solution and you add electricity, you get electrolyzed hypochlorous acid. Without the addition of a liquid salt solution, you still get 2.5 ionized acid water. That is 100% completely different. If you use a granular salt, it must be dissolved in a liquid to be electrostatically active to produce the sterilizing hypochlorous acid. you're looking for 2.5 electrolyzed hypochlorous acid. There's a Dr. Michael Explains Hypochlorous Acid, and you can see its effectiveness as it's being used in wound care facilities, hospitals, infectious disease clinics, for MRSA, staph, strep, Kripke, the whole bit. The FDA's approval of hypochlorous acid, it was cleared as a high-level disinfectant for medical devices, dental devices, et cetera, et cetera. They tested the Sterilox machine, and they said, yes, this is a viable solution, as long as it is single-use, generating on site. If you electrolyze tap water, because it has chlorine in it, you'll get some chlorine in the 2.5, but without the addition of an actual saline solution, it does not meet the parts per million criteria for producing hypochlorous acid. It simply does not. I was talking to a recent manufacturer that's gaining a lot of footing, and he tried to explain to me how the sulfur is effective in hypochlorous acid in his machine. And I'm like, there's no sulfur in hypochlorous acid. It's HOCl. And he went off on me in a tangent. I think he didn't like the fact that his machine couldn't get it done. But that's okay. Electrolyzing tap water requires sodium solution. The FDA has not personally, to my knowledge, evaluated the SD501. However, there's been several third-party evaluations done of the SD501. This one was done by ATS Labs, and it was involved MRSA, methyl-resistant staph, 18 to 30 seconds. Staph, strep, E. coli, reports online, you can find it. It gets it done because it makes electrolyzed hypochlorous acid. By that I mean, as a disinfectant, this is strong electrolyzed acid pH water, 2.6 and below. Staph, strep, E. coli, salmonella, red yeast, Staph aureus, streptococcus pyogenes, all of it in about 30 seconds or less. This over here is 2.5 acid water. This is the competition. Not a lot getting killed there, people. This is bleach. 2 minutes, 5 minutes, some of it 30 seconds. Just doesn't get it done. Other things that the competition won't mention. Everyone seems to want to compare their pH and ORP against the SD501. Perfect. And having tested them, they do produce those numbers. How long does it last? I had one guy that came in and said, you'd be great because our machine does everything and it's half the price. Well, you know, with the SD501, when we share water with patients, it lasts for 3 or 4 days. Many of the machines have great ORPs that last for only a few minutes to a few hours. Why? Because it's underpowered and it doesn't create a stable ionization process. I actually asked one rep, he said, well, of course it doesn't last for very long, but you're just going to drink it straight from the machine. I said, okay, well, let's just leave them on here and we'll compare these waters in about 15, 20 minutes. He said, fair enough. When it got done, his water actually went from a negative like 700 to a positive 250 in about 20 minutes. He goes, well, I just drink straight from the machine anyways. I said, yeah, but do you ever take a water bottle at the gym or take water with you to work? He goes, yeah. I said, then you're just, if it loses its charge, you're just drinking filtered water. He goes, yeah, so what? Still better for you than all the stuff in there. I said, that's a Brita. It's like $39.95. He said, oh, I guess I see your point. So just because it does it doesn't mean it does it well. A few other things. Some of them produce quality water that can be used to clean veggies and surfaces. Most of them do not. I know that my SD501 does. Finally, we already talked about the 2.5 acid water needs a liquid salt solution in order to produce electrolyzed hypochlorous acid. If it doesn't produce it, it's not a comparable machine. Cosmetically, the SD501 produces an actual beauty water setting that works great for skin conditions, rashes, acne, things like that. I was joking and I said, if I compare my Toyota to a Ferrari, both have tires, both run on gasoline, and both will go 100 miles an hour. And the Toyota is cheaper with lower maintenance. I'll take my Ferrari. Thank you. Electrolysis solution and bleach. There's one particular guy that gets out there to compare his machine to the SD501, and it's awesome. He is basically just trying to scare you into buying a machine because it's a horrible product. Because he has no clue what he's talking about. I've seen several videos and pamphlets. Do you know you're drinking bleach? Because that's what's in the electrolysis enhancer for an SD501 machine. For starters, the enhancer is used to produce 2.5 hypochlorous acid, and you don't drink it. The manufacturer says, don't drink this. You never drink out of the acid line. It is used for cleaning the machine to help keep the mold down, though. Oh, wait a second. So it's not the source of chlorine, but it's a preservative for the solution. The bleach that's in the 2.5 enhancer isn't used to produce hypochlorous acid. It's to keep the saline solution as a preservative. In contaminated water supplies, FEMA recommends 16 drops of bleach per gallon of drinking water. The Enagic enhancer has approximately 10 drops of bleach per gallon of solution. That's less than what they recommend for drinking water. Then you take 8 ounces of that solution into the machine to produce 10 gallons of strong acid water. Your ratio of actual bleach in that water is less than comes out of your tap. Again, very awesome way to misdirect and scare people into buying an inferior machine because they didn't have a clue what hypochlorous acid is. If they're trying to tell you, oh, you're drinking bleach and you got this solution, it's old technology, they're basically trying to scare you because they don't know what they're talking about. In the end, if you compare apples to apples, you can buy any other water ionizer on the market and spend several $1,000s on it. Typical one will run you anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. We'll just say $2,500. Then you can go buy a hypochlorous machine. They make standalone units from Terrace and Tie-In. They're good commercial grade hypochlorous machines. And you're going to spend another $3,000 to $4,000 plus your two. So now you're at $6,500. Or you can simply buy an SD501 for $4,000. You got the best of everything, and you're going to save money. The SD501 water has dissolved hydrogen, molecular oxygen, antioxidants, ORP. Microclustering is kind of a misnomer. It's a marketing glitchy word. Basically, it has a high electrostatic charge that causes the water molecules to disperse. It produces electrolyzed reduced water. It has 2.5 pH water that can be used for disinfection, cold water sterilization. You can also use it for cosmetic peels and skin conditions, cooking sterilization. 11.5, it's an emulsifier and cleaner. There's a whole water use chart that goes with the SD501. It's not just drink water. I personally feel that the SD501 is the best electrolyzed reduced water machine on the market. I can't find anything that is better. I've seen a lot that has tried. I actually tried 8 or more alkaline water ionizers before I found one that worked for Skylar. You can ask Amy. I didn't want to try it. She basically shamed me, saying, you know, Dr. Michael, Skylar doesn't have to suffer because you're too stubborn to try the water. And when I did, I found out. This machine produces 7 types of highly bioavailable water. It is endorsed by thousands of doctors and used in hospitals all over the world. The drinking water creates high levels of oxygen, hydrogen, and antioxidants. It can be used for disinfecting, cleaning, food prep, and cosmetics. To the best of my knowledge, it is the only OEM water ionizer in the business. I could be wrong, but that means it's an original equipment manufacturer. And that means they in-house produce their whole machine. They're not just, hey, let's get plates from Korea and a power supply from Taiwan and wiring from China, and then we'll assemble it in Texas. It's actually produced, owned. When someone gets an SD501 and they're part of the business, they're actually an affiliate directly related to the manufacturer. That's why it can be produced for only $4,000. If you were to take a machine that goes for $1,000 that the manufacturer made, and then he went and he got a distributor who now sold it for $2,000, and the distributor sends it to the wholesaler for $4,000, and then the wholesaler sells it to a retailer for $8,000, and then it just escalates. They've kept the price down with a great product because they're an original manufacturer, equipment manufacturer. It's that simple. The bottom line is, what I look for when I'm comparing anything online is, Does it have enough wattage, amperage, and plate surface area to consistently achieve stable disassociation of water? Does it have auto cleaning and manual cleaning? It does not use any form of remineralizer. It has a liquid salt solution for the production of true hypochlorous acid. It has a good reputation with a long history of customer service backing their warranty. One of the machines that I took apart because the lifetime warranty was voided when the company sold itself off and got rid of that particular line, and the new manufacturer didn't pick up the lifetime warranty. So much for that lifetime warranty. You just have to be really careful with the gimmicks and things that people try to do to confuse the issue of what's wrong with Enagic. If it gets up there and you get up there and you look and it does not produce hypochlorous acid, it is not an apples to apples comparison. That is a $4,000 options package on every other machine. As a side note, some people talk about the filtration for the SD501. The filter with it is designed for municipal water supplies. If you want to get a super fancy, amazing filtration system, you can get one, a pre-filter from Enagic, for less than a couple $100, and it will do anything you can imagine. I have noticed that a lot of the filters that come on machines, as a side note, are for about 1,000 gallons. I get about 2,200 gallons of water per filter, and I've got 7 people living in my house, 4 kids, a nanny, my wife and I. We use it for cooking, cleaning, cosmetics, and it lasts probably 5 or 6 months, longer than the filter did on my fridge. So there you have it. If you have any other questions, this is from Dr. Michael Explains at gmail.com. I'll be glad to answer them. I don't need, you forgot this, you forgot that, or you're trying to, I don't need that. If you want more information on something that is legitimate that I missed and you'd like me to address, let me know. If you want more information about the electrolyzed reduced water machine that we use for Skylar, you can go to skywaterinc.net. I'm sure somebody pointed you to this website and this information. Get back in touch with them. Don't call me. Call them. If you just happen to stumble on it and you have some questions, sure. There's an information newsletter you can get at that website. But let's just help educate people and take some of the confusion out of this. Yeah. If there's anything else I can do to help you, this is a little bit longer, but the competition is just kind of needs real answers, and it's a lot more complicated. Thanks, and have a great day.
Your volume, turn your volume up.
Gotta unmute myself. Have you seen that video yet?
Stuff. I mean, flat out. That guy, he brings it. I don't know how you can question or challenge it.
What's up for you? What's the deal with all this alkaline water? There's new
Oh, hold on a second.
But what are the real benefits?
Let me kill this.
We reveal those results in our first ever water experiment to find out.
More of that nonsense. So, yeah, what a great presentation by Dr. Michael. I love that. You know, he's owned so many of these machines. I love, you know what I really love? He calls it Skywater.
Oh.
He named it after his daughter because it gave her machine what it needed to fix itself. I call it Cogswater, of course. Hey, Paul, you can unmute yourself, brother. And so, yeah, that I wanted to just roll with that today because I'm sick of this so-called competition. It's no such thing. And people need to understand that there isn't any.
No, and at the end of the day, you know, I think what we're trying to help people in a lot of respects understand this technology is all about. You know, obviously, Enagic started the thing. They've been driving the bus for 54 years, 45 years as a company. You know, it's obvious, you know, that it's a 45-year-old trend, 45-year-old fad, you know. So once we get beyond that, then it's a matter of helping people realize that, okay, now that you get ionization as a science, as a something to incorporate into your household, something like this obviously should get their attention.
You know, what was interesting to me about that is how these other manufacturers that are supposedly our competition, they sell an additional machine for $3,000 to $4,000 that all it does is make the 2.5 hypochlorous acid. That's it. It doesn't make anything else.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh boy.
What do you think about that, Paul? Have you seen that video before, Paul?
I have not.
Oh,
I have not.
Yeah, pretty good. What'd you think?
Thought it was awesome. I'm just sitting here watching my daughter buy 2 bottles of Essentia 9.5. I can't get her to pour a gallon of water.
Oh.
See, and that's the thing. We've just got to go next, or we'll go crazy. I mean, everybody that's let me share this water with them in some 11th hour scenario of their health and their overall quality of life has experienced some type of miracle. Some type, very marked, very noticeable, a major wow. And some of them are even bigger. Canceling chemos. Do I tell them that? No. But when you got someone canceling 3 chemos and the doctor mocks her and tells her that, you know, it's the same type of thing Loretta was talking about yesterday. Well, you know, we can take you to court, and the big business of medicine is they're a big bully. And people just, if they can't see that, you know, obviously we have an option to take control of their own health and give people the power to just, again, regain control. And it's just interesting to see how many people still don't get it. Those that haven't tried it, yeah, my dad let his leg get cut off, but he showed me, right? Yeah, I don't need your water. You know, you look at that stuff and it's crazy. You cannot care more about people's health than they do themselves. So I'm hoping at the end of the day that this just resonates with people out there that are indeed sick of the status quo, indeed sick of what they're dealing with, what their options are. You know, there's 600 and some odd thousand kids out there on psychiatric drugs, children on psychiatric drugs in this country. And we're making a big hullabaloo about the measles. Hell, I had measles and chicken pox, if I'm not mistaken, when I was little. Got past them, you know. And I don't know. It's just interesting. It's just really something that I've gotten to a point to where if I get somebody that wants to stutter and stammer around about their indifference, I just simply say, hey, right on, man. Well, hey, I'll see you around. If anything ever comes up, you ever want to talk, you ever want to revisit this, let me know. And that's it. Because I've tried to convince people and it just doesn't work. So obviously resources like this are great, but you know, then I get 2 people that pop out of nowhere off the radar through a mutual friend, and they're getting it for their own health reasons, and they've kind of got not an 11th hour deal, but they've got something that they're dealing with that I'd rather not share in public, but they're dealing with a health issue. And they were awesome. I mean, it was like, hey, we heard about this. Can you substantiate it? I gave them some things. And within 2 weeks, these guys bought a machine. That is awesome. Those are the people we want to work with. And finding them is the key. So I think things like this are obviously helpful just to get it out there into the ether. And hopefully somebody out there's thirsty for a little truth, a little Kong's truth.
Amen, brother. You know, hey, Paul, your daughter, I'd sure love to get a chance to talk with her if you want to do a live sometime or something, see if you can get her. You know, sometimes you just can't get people to listen no matter what. Like my brother, he bought that machine, and I was supposed to go down and help him put it in today, and his wife won't let him.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. And so I literally, I started tearing up last night on the phone with him. I'm like, dude, you need this water so bad. Your family, your wife, everybody, you guys all need this so bad.
His wife must have an insurance policy on him, and the sooner he goes, the better she gets paid. I mean, I'll say it right there. If a wife is not going to allow a husband to put that sounds like some stuff my ex-wife would have done.
Well, they're going through a remodel project on their house, and she just doesn't want to hassle with it right now. She doesn't understand how important it is. You know, once they get the remodel done, then it'll be fine. Yeah, they'll hook it up and all that. But yeah, it's like they're going to be wasting a month or 2 or 3 or however much time it's going to take to get that stupid remodel done.
Right.
It just goes to show you guys how
her remodel is more important than her husband's health. That's the bottom line.
Well,
that's what it's for her. And that's that America. We live in our phony little pop-up where we want to create our own reality, and we can't deal with the truth. I'd love to meet your sister-in-law, dude. I would have a heyday with her, and she'd probably break down crying or show some neurotic, weird deal just by asking a few questions of her, you know, and not to be rude or nothing, but I'd ask her some real simple, straightforward questions, and she'd probably be stuttering around like she was tongue-tied.
Well,
people don't want the truth. They want their convenient little reality, and they don't want any hassles. You know, that's it.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the thing is that what we're going to do is we're just going to keep spreading the positivity, spreading the solid truth and information, and then we're going to let the chips fall where they may, and that's okay because we know what we're doing. And we're, you know, we're solid with our decisions. And hey, Mr. T, let everybody see his thumbs. Kids, you got to see this kitty. He's got thumbs. See, look at him. He's got thumbs. He's the cutest kitty in the whole wide world.
You don't leave me alone, man.
Oh, love it. So thanks so much for coming in.
No, JJ. My daughter actually asked me the other day, she said, Dad, how am I supposed to afford this technology? I said, honey, can you afford $100 a month? She's like, no, but I just watched her spend $5 on 2 bottles of Essentia.
Yeah, it's $5.45 a day for 2 years, and then it's free after that, pretty much. I mean,
that's it.
Well free.
And do you know what the Bud Light distributor guy told me the other day about Essentia? They went to the plant, and Essentia evidently puts an electrical charge to this water.
Doesn't matter. It loses it. It loses it shortly.
Yeah, it loses it. I mean, look at our machine makes it. It's the most powerful machine on the planet, and its power sustains for 2 to 3 days. Max, really, maybe 4 or 5 if you're dealing with JJ's source water. But I talk to anybody in the bottled water industry. I mean, especially since if they're domestically made, it's 18 to 24 months from the time it's filled to the time it's cracked by us as a consumer. And with no mention of the transportation.
Oh, I get all that. I explained that to him. I grabbed the bottle and I read the ingredients and it said sodium bicarbonate. I asked him, do you know what sodium bicarbonate is? He said, no, sir. I said, that is baking soda. Do you like drinking baking soda? He said, not really, but it sure works good.
Yeah, well, it's going to give them osteoporosis if they drink enough of it, because it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All I can do, boys, and that's all. Educator, I'm not your message. Somebody will work on one of these.
So, anyway, brother, much love, and thanks for jumping in, Paul. Your internet connection is obviously a little spotty. No problem. Anyway, we're an hour and 20 minutes in almost, and so we're gonna go
right on. Love you guys. Have a good day.
Yeah, have a great day, buddy. Love to your daughter, and hopefully she'll work it out. You know, it's only a matter of time before everybody has these babies on their countertops. It's just a matter of time, you guys.
Amen.
People have to take their time and their deal. We just need to continue to roll with the love, and that's something I'm learning from Sam.
Amen.
And from the other sources of this incredible family of people. So you guys, let's just keep rolling with the love, right? Let's just keep rolling with the love. I know it's frustrating when people won't pay attention, but we can't pay attention to that kind of stuff. And we just need to keep doing what we're doing, because we know that we're doing the right thing, right? So,
yes, sir.
Love you guys. I love you so much. And
Roger that.
of course,
Over and out.
don't forget your hugs. HooDeeHooo.
Peace out.
See you, Nelson.
Bye for now. See you tomorrow.